Good morning, Jackson, Mississippi, and all surrounding areas. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It starts now. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards. It's good to be up this morning. You can just tell already it's going to be a hot one today. But it's going to be a hot one in hell every day for all of the Pink House defenders and that crew. But hey, they have nowhere else to go kill babies. So that is a good thing. The abortion murder clinic is closed forever, and we will celebrate that here on the Clay Edwards Show. The Pink House closed forever yesterday. The last baby was murdered, and they closed the doors. I weep in sorrow for the babies that were murdered yesterday. I woke up this morning and prayed for them. It's the first time I woke up and prayed in a long time, and I probably shouldn't admit that, but as life goes, I typically say my prayers as I lay down at night. But I woke up this morning, and it was all I could think about, and sad. You know, I'm going to play a video here in just a second, and we got Anson Walker coming in today, so I got a lot I want to squeeze in before he gets here. I got a video I want to play from a nut job over at ESPN named Elle something or another, Elle Duncan. And she tries to tell us what girl dads should do. Now, the hashtag girl dad became very popular after Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi died in that helicopter crash. It was hashtag girl dad, you know. And she was one of the people that made that hashtag popular, mind you. She used that to catapult herself into quite a good position, but now she wants to take the same thing that she catapulted herself into a position she probably doesn't deserve at ESPN, but whatever, she's an attractive woman. That's the way things go. And so now she's trying to use that. And this is all over abortion rights, mind you. But I'm going to let her, I don't want to speak for her. I'm going to let her speak for herself. And then I've got some thoughts on it. As a hashtag girl dad, I have some thoughts on it because you don't get to speak for me. And let's go. Let's just go on and start this here. This is Elle Duncan on ESPN a day or so ago.
Right now, we are taping this, and everybody in the control room is under the assumption that it is for television. And while I appreciate that they are allowing me the space to do that, I'm actually going to ask them not to put this on TV for a couple of reasons. To save my producers from worrying about placement in the show or tone out of it, which, by the way, are necessary evils when you do a TV show. Also because when you work at this place and when you sit at this desk, bad faith characters lay in wait to attack the method instead of the message. And so I'm going to deflate that hot air before it starts because, frankly, the power of reach goes well beyond just the TV platform, and I certainly learned that a couple of years ago after I shared a story about Kobe Bryant on this very SportsCenter. And if I'm being honest, the legacy of Girl Dad has always been incredibly complicated for me, because they were Kobe's words and ultimately I was only sharing them in the wake of unspeakable tragedy, but also because over time, what started as a touching tribute to the bond between fathers and daughters has turned mostly into a kitschy, commercialized catchphrase. I know you've seen the T-shirts. I certainly see the hashtags. You know, you're playing catch in the yard, hashtag girl dad. Father's Day pics, hashtag girl dad. Literally any content with a girl in it, girl dad. But strip girls of their constitutional rights, silence. I want the dads watching to ask themselves a really honest question right now, and I mean that. How does the sentiment of being a girl dad evolve beyond superficial social media posts into actual advocacy? Are you carrying that same pride for your daughters into boardrooms, locker rooms, courtrooms? Are you doing everything in your power to protect their rights? Do you trust them to make difficult decisions for themselves and their bodies? Should they be given full agency over their own lives? Can you confidently state to the women in your lives that you've used your power and privilege as men for their betterment? That you've done all you can to ensure that at the very least, they'll have the same rights afforded to decades of women before them? I had a friend the other day tell me that I was fearless. It is quite the opposite. I am filled with fear. But this is not a fire drill, and so I'm going to keep speaking up, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it means saying goodbye to my mentions, even if it alienates me from a faction of the public. I don't know if anything that I am doing will help, but I'm trying. And I suppose that all I'm asking to all of you well-meaning, proud girl dads out there is, are you?
Oh, no. Not goodbye to her mentions. Oh. All right, Elle. Let's break this down. Look, I'm sure some of you guys out there are going to want to comment on this, so let me set this up real quick. The Mac Hike of Flowwood Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram phone line here on the Clay Edwards Show is 601-879-0002. The Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. One more time. I get a lot of questions about the text line, 769-241-1944. I'm looking for two different kinds of callers this morning. I want women that are listening. I want to know if you think your dad would have fought for your right to have an abortion, if that was more important to him, or if him teaching you the way of life and fighting for your rights and teaching you to not bed down before you're married and to not have an abortion and to show you Christ, just the right way, the traditional way. What do you think your dad would have considered more important? Also, I want to hear from my fellow girl dads out there. Do you think fighting for your daughter's rights to have an abortion is a constitutional thing? Do you think that means you love your daughter less if you don't want her to become mentally scarred for the rest of her life for having an abortion? What do you think of that? What are your thoughts? I don't want to load your mouth with words. I like y'all's thoughts. 601-879-0002. I'm going to give you my thoughts. My daughter's 20 years old. I've got two other girls that are in my life around the same age group with my daughter's half-sister who I raised as basically my own, and then my stepdaughter, Grace. And I'm just going to say that, to me, the most important thing I can instill in my daughter is that you deal with the consequences of life as they come at you. If she was to get pregnant before she got married, she was born out of wedlock. Let me just be 100% honest here. My daughter was born out of wedlock. I have no regrets about that. None at all. Would have liked to have done some things differently, but I wouldn't call them regrets. If my daughter was to have a child out of wedlock, it would not matter. It would not matter. I wouldn't be like, oh, no, you're not going to ruin this good family name that I've built out here having a baby out of wedlock. We got to go get an abortion. Absolutely not. I tell you what, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life with, the way I've raised my child and just things I missed because I was high and drunk and partying and all that stuff over the years. But every now and then I get a moment with her where I'm like, man, I did that right. I did that right. My daughter yesterday, and this has been going on for a little while now since this abortion thing became front and center. My daughter yesterday sent me these screenshots from these sicko people that refer to themselves as the pink house defenders. They're the ones that walk the baby killers in and out as they get ready to have their abortions. A post they made on Facebook about how sad, long story short, about how sad they were going to be that the pink house was going away. So she sent me that, said, this is so disgusting. So my daughter would be disgusted with me if I was out there trying to defend her right to have an abortion. Abortion is not a constitutional right. The Supreme Court just decided that. Nobody's constitutional right was taken away. All right, man. Phones have lit up. Let's jump straight in. If I don't get you in order, I apologize. First up on the Matt Kike of Flowwood phone line. Hey, good morning. You're on there.
Good morning. This is Sylvia.
Hey, Sylvia.
Hi. My daddy had 4 daughters, and there's no way on this side of glory would he ever have approved of any one of us having an abortion.
What would he have looked more negatively at? You having a baby out of wedlock or you having an abortion?
Oh, he would have died about having the abortion. He can handle having a child out of wedlock. Although he was very strict about that dating scene and boys in general. He really he was very strict about that and laid down a lot of rules and consequences for things that you did if you didn't do it according to the way he said to do them. But my dad would not have put up with that. No way. He would have just accepted the fact. He probably would make you feel really bad about having a child out of wedlock, but he would prefer having a child out of wedlock than you killing his grandchild.
Yeah, I mean, he would have made you feel a little guilty about it until he held that baby in his arms for the first time, and that would have been that would have been the end of that.
I'm pretty sure it would have been. All of his grandchildren were in wedlock, so I don't know exactly, but I would think he would say it's not the child's fault, and I think by that time he would have said to one of his daughters, saying, "You messed up, but let's not do this again." Now that I do know he would say.
Yep. All right, Sylvia. Thank you so much for calling in this morning. I was hoping you would. I appreciate it.
All right. Talk to you later. Have a good day.
You too. Bless you. Bye-bye. All right. Again, phone lines are open. We had a couple people kind of hang up before I was able to get to you. Mac Hike and Flowwood phone line, 601-879-0002. On the Guns and Gear text line, I got Josh sending me pictures of his daughters hunting and fishing and all kind of stuff. And, Josh listens to all of our shows up here. He's been on Jameson's show. And he says 7 deployments, 21 years served, a degenerated disc in my back, among other things, still doing my best to protect and raise. And, man, shout out to you. All right, we've got another call here on the Mac Hike of Flowwood phone line. Hey, good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Clay. I've called and told my story before about the son that I had in treatment. I was in the middle of drug and alcohol rehab. I had no idea who his father was.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for calling back in.
But let me just tell you that there are resources. I was in rehab. I had nothing, no clothes, nothing. There's places in Jackson that give you clothes. You can file for food stamps. You can file for daycare assistance. All of that was available to me, all of it. So there's no excuse.
Hey, if you don't mind, will you reset your story real quick for us?
Yes, I'm going to try not to cry.
I think it's important. I want people to hear this because there may be somebody out there right now that is upset they weren't able to get that abortion. And I think your story is dead on. God put you on the phone this morning for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was in the middle of a divorce. I was in the middle of a very bad drug addiction. I had 2 children that were babies, and my ex-husband was taking them from me. And I was pregnant by, I had no idea who I do now, but it was between 3 different people at the time. I had no idea who the father was. And I was in rehab for 2 weeks when I found out I was pregnant. And I was disgusted. I had no idea what I was going to do. And I honestly didn't even know if I wanted to not have an abortion, but keep the baby. We talked about adoption with my family. I prayed about it for a long time. I was disgusted with myself, not with the child. And about 6 months in, I just felt like I just knew God was going to carry me through and he was going to protect the child. And he did. And my baby will be 7 on July 24th. And God has worked it out. It has not been easy. Parenting's not easy no matter the situation, but it was possible, and we made it through. He's 7. He now has a father that adopted him when he was 3 that loves him as his own. And he has no idea the circumstances that he was brought up in, that surrounded all the chaos. I mean, it was just so much hurt and anger, and God provided, and he's almost 7 now, and it's great. And so, there's so much hope for women that are struggling. And I'm going to say this, even in a rape situation, because nobody knows how he was conceived, and they don't know the situation that surrounded how he was conceived. And that's something that I don't talk about often. But I do know that God loved that baby no matter what. And I love that baby no matter what. And when I look at him today, I don't see, oh my gosh, why did I keep him? I don't see what happened to me. I don't see the situation I put myself in. I don't see drugs. I don't see any of that. I see grace. That's what I see. And I see a beautiful life.
Amber, thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling in this morning.
You're welcome, absolutely. And if y'all get anybody on the phone that needs somebody to talk to, please send them my way.
I will. I know how to get in touch with you. I appreciate it so much. Y'all have a blessed day.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was so powerful, wasn't it? It was so powerful. Look, we're going to take a break real quick. We ran over But if there was ever a good reason to run over, that was it. You're listening to the Clay Edwards Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back on the radio. Breaking rules when necessary. That's what we do here. We break rules when necessary. And, it ain't popular in local media outside of this radio station to talk about abortion being baby murder. But I'll call it like it is, and so will my cohorts here at WYB. I don't want to speak for everybody, but these are men led by faith and by God, and one of our strongest advocates over here for these babies is Mr. Jim Thorne, who's been fighting and fighting and fighting for a long time. And after I got through with my rant yesterday morning, I felt so good. Jim Thorne came in here and told me good job, and I don't want to say it's the first compliment Jim's ever given me, but when he's telling me good job about talking about that topic, I was honored. It really was. It kind of bestowed it upon me a little bit. So, hey, look, with that said, this segment is going to be brought to you by Kimberly Harrelson over at Next Home Realty. Listing, selling, or buying a home, it's easier than you may think. In fact, it's just a click away when you work with Kimberly Harrelson at Next Home Realty. If you're looking to make a move to or from the Jackson area, then Kimberly Harrelson is the agent that you'll want. She knows how to negotiate the best price, buying or selling. Kimberly Harrelson will help you make the right decision with your home. Check her out online at KimberlySalesMS.com. That's KIMBERLEE salesms.com. And you can go to Facebook and find her too. Just go type in Kimberly Next Home. It'll pop up. I've got Anson Walker in the studio with me. And before we dive into our Walker lifestyle segment, Anson, we're gonna tie all this in together here. Something that often gets lost in this abortion argument or women's rights is what about self-responsibility? Have you got your mic on? No. Let's see here. Try this one. Try that. I don't know what's going on with your mic. Here we go. Try that.
All right.
Okay, there we go. Something that always gets lost in the mix is what about responsibility? What about contraceptives, birth control, stuff of that nature? I mean, I heard someone say, women got about 5 days a month they can get pregnant, right?
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah.
And, if you can't not figure that out, I mean, there's a lot of little things. It's easy to not get pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to speak for anybody here, but it's easy to not get pregnant. It's easy to not impregnate somebody. How I only have one child, I have no clue.
Right.
I mean, a little bit of self-responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, where's the responsibility? Why? Because you were irresponsible. And I don't want to hear about rape and incest.
Yeah.
That first off, they're the same thing. I mean, if you rape somebody, I don't care if it's a family member. It's grosser, I guess, if it's a family member. But at the end of the day, rape is rape.
It's a crime.
It's a crime. And then whatever. But what about self-responsibility? And that, I think we have a responsibility to our daughters to try to keep them from having abortions. Because, man, I think now that this abortion ban's gone in and we're going to save on average about 3,500 kids a year. That's about 10 a day.
Right.
I think there was 3,559 last year, if the number I saw was correct. To me, that means that's going to be 3,559 women out there who aren't carrying that weight and those scars, those emotional scars. And I don't say this. I don't want to say this to sound condescending, but that's going to be 3,500 less crazy women out there, broken women, damaged women dealing with that.
Yeah.
For the rest of their lives.
There's 2 points to that I'd like to add. One, Clay, we don't talk about abstinence anymore. We just assume that you have to have sex.
Somebody just said that on the Guns and Gear text line. Great call.
You don't. You can let's go with hey, let's don't have sex until we get married. How about that? Okay. If I could go back in time and change it, I would do that. Okay. I wasn't strong enough to do that. Okay. That's on me. Number one.
I was weak.
Okay. Number one. That's let's start there. Then number two, and I don't care any way you spin it, when you kill an unborn child, that is murder. And I'm sorry, that is 2 + 2 is 4. That's the way it is. It's murder. That child is defenseless. We're here to defend him. That is our job. That is our responsibility. I can sleep good at night knowing that Roe versus Wade has been reversed. I really can. And that's my second point.
If you have an abortion, you are no different than that Uvalde shooter who walked in that classroom and shot all those kids. You're no different. You're no better than that guy. Sorry to be the bad news guy here, but at the end of the day, you're doing the same exact thing.
Yeah, and look, man, we're guys. We're not women. I'm not speaking for women. I don't have kids, so I am armchair quarterbacking here. But this is a radio station. This is our opinion, and we're going to give it, and that's it. And I'll double down on it.
Our podcast will be available shortly. ClayEdwardsShow.com.
America, you love your country, so it goes without saying that you also love your ride. And Auto Armor in Flowood wants to help you make that ride shine. Auto Armor in Flowood is Central Mississippi's premier automotive detail and ceramic coating shop, servicing any type of vehicle, including ATVs, boats, and more. Need just a quick detail or paint correction? Auto Armor can make it happen. But if you're set to hit the road in a blaze of glory while flying the old red, white, and blue, Auto Armor should be your first and last call to give your ride a full ceramic coating. Auto Armor is locally owned and operated by the loud and proud American patriot Clay Edwards. Auto Armor also proudly backs the blue, all military and first responders. So don't forget to ask for your discount. Call 601-260-0858. 601-260-0858. Or stop in today, fellow Americans. Auto Armor is located at 4394 Mangum Drive in Flowood. Online at AutoArmorMS.com. Auto Armor, unapologetically American. Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow at 7 a.m. as the Clay Edwards Show discusses all that is going on in and around the city of Jackson.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Right here on 103.9 WYAB.